Bring in Tom Stewart. Go ahead and unmute there, Tom.
Hey, how
And
are you?
doing great. Thanks for asking. And he's with the Conqueror Accelerator program, which has been around for a number of years. I know I've been covering it, but I can't tell you exactly how long. How long has that been around?
Yeah, seven years for the program. We're starting our seventh year, so 6 years. 41 companies now, six exits. Um, we've been slowly chugging away here for Michigan.
Yeah, let's assume that no one knows anything about it other than the name. So explain
Yeah.
exactly what it does.
Yeah, so Conquer is a program, put on by the Michigan State University Foundation and Spartan Innovations, and it's a 10-week hands-on business accelerator program where we help companies get from problem solution fit to product market fit. We're industry agnostic for the program, which kind of allows us to create customized goal-driven plans for each company. And then we can use the leverage, like the power of the MSU network and all the resources to help execute these plans and just try to put you in front of the right people at the right time. We select 5 teams for each program, and each team then receives $20,000 investment. And in addition to the monetary investment, you also get access to, teams are provided with one-on-one mentorship, support and resources to help them grow. And as well as access to like additional funding, upon completion of certain program requirements. So what's really cool about the MSU Foundation kind of ecosystem is it also includes Red Cedar Ventures and Michigan Rise, which are two other investment funds that can really help move you along. So typically, we're looking for companies that are beyond the prototype stage and have some early traction. That could mean revenue, but that could also mean active users that are kind of beyond your friends and family, or even like in the case of med device, that could mean like proof of patient and doctor buy-in, things like that. Our goal really is to meet entrepreneurs where they are and then prepare them for the next stage of their journey. Whether that's moving on to raise their first real investment round, or if they just want to try and grow more organically. We like to think of ourselves like tour guides for startups. Pretty much you tell us where you want to go, and then we'll do our best to get you there as fast as we can with the best resources we can bring to bear. So that's the program in a nutshell.
All right. So I know the MSU Foundation is behind it. Is it limited to folks that are going to MSU, or is it wide open for anybody else?
So we have 2 programs, and our summer program here in East Lansing is open to pretty much everyone. We have a little bit of a preference towards like MSU family, as they say, of companies. So faculty, staff, alumni, students, referrals from those groups, but it's not at all a requirement. So we encourage really anyone within the state of Michigan who kind of meets those criteria I was mentioning earlier. We encourage all of you to apply. If by any chance you are in the Grand Rapids region, we have a fall program that won't start obviously for a little bit. Our East Lansing program here starts in June. So there's a little more urgency if you can, but if you can wait till the fall and you're in the Grand Rapids area, there's another opportunity for that too. Yeah.
Now, in terms of applying, I know that you're accepting applications right now. What is the deadline for summer?
Yeah, applications for the summer program, East Lansing, close April 22nd. We'll announce the teams usually, it sounds like by May 20th at the latest. And then the program itself will run June 6th through August 12th. It'll be a hybrid, so that's the other thing. Geography probably being in the East Lansing region is a plus, but it's again not a requirement since we're doing hybrid. We'll do 1 day a week in person, which will be a lot more of a community building event. So you might miss out on that stuff if you're not able to come to the East Lansing region. But we're doing 4 days, 1 day on site, 4 days off site. Again, hybrid. So we'll make exceptions for really great companies that might all be all the way up in the UP or something like that. We'd be happy to accommodate. That gives us a lot of flexibility to really seek out great companies across the state.
Yeah, because it might be a little tricky trying to get a place in Lansing in the summer then so and with that 20,000 might be used up on rent, right? So
Yeah, we wouldn't want that. We want to try to maximize that for any kind of development work or product development work, or even just paying the founders. There's actually no restrictions on the 20,000, but we would love for it to go towards the business and a lot less towards your living situation.
yeah, absolutely. Now, I have been up there on a couple of occasions to do observations, and it tends to be very young folks in the program. Is that still the case?
I would say we've matured it a lot over both in the program itself and kind of the founders. It is still usually younger, but we have seen in the last 2 years, especially since we went virtually, we've seen a big change kind of in the age gap. We have, which I actually love. We've had a great representation of all different types of folks, from people who are just fresh out of college. We've had some student teams still make the final cut, to people who are on their second or third company, come and join us as well. So it's really been great to see. I think after 5 years, it's kind of that inflection point, and it's been great to see. We do a lot of our alumni help us do a lot of the work as far as recruiting other companies and getting out there. So we're just really seeing, the fruits of our labor, I think, pay off. Again, because accelerators, it's a long feedback cycle, right? You're hoping 3 to 7 years to hear, 3 years minimum to hear any kind of feedback. And so we're really approaching that kind of maturity for a program ourselves as well. And it's really cool to see. So
Why don't we talk about some of the companies that have exited? I guess that would be the best proof of concept if they've developed whatever their vision thing is, and they actually sell their vision thing or merge it or whatever the case may be. What are some examples of those successful exits?
yeah, a great example we like to use all the time is a company that was called LawnBot. It was out of Grand Rapids. It helps you lawn companies, larger lawn companies, do quick quoting. So you could use an app, and then I'm pointing to my own hand, and you could just outline how big your yard was, and you could that would know the square footage, and then you would get a quote back immediately based on their pricing. Which, if you've ever had to have someone come out and mow your lawn, usually somebody's got to come out there, measure your lawn, etc. It's a big process. So they were able to create this app, and then there was another company in Michigan called Real Green Systems, who ended up being like a big channel partner for them. I sent a lot of business, ended up saying, this is so good, we want to buy it, and that is what they did. Some of our other acquisitions are usually, that's been what we found works best for at least our entrepreneurs and the stages they're typically at, has been channel partners. We had another one, AR Utility, which was a company that lets you AR, as you meant, augmented reality, look at where the utility lines are for construction companies, et cetera. And they ended up in a licensing deal with I'm going to blank on the company. They ended up in a licensing deal, but they ended up in a licensing deal with another company. And those are the examples of how you're really able to leverage those things, and we get you ready to do all of that. We're looking at a couple of exits coming up in the med device space, I think, so knock on wood. I don't want to jinx myself there. But these things, it's just been great for me to see. We're really excited. It takes a little bit of time. Again, 3 to 7 years is what you're looking for from entrance into the program, probably to early exits. Other cool things, we had First Ignite as the name of a company. We had our first Y Combinator company come out of the program in 2020, which is really cool to see as well. So it's a lot of, it's just it was a little bit in the waiting, but we've matured, and the companies have matured, and it's starting to really churn out some great results.
So over the years, then, in terms of categories like med device or IT or whatever, where do you see most of these companies, or the larger percentage of them anyway, coming in?
Yeah, I think I would say actually it would make sense for Michigan. I'm looking at my portfolio list right now. Healthcare technology is probably, and I'd be inclusive of med device there, but given what goes on the west side of the state, and that Michigan in general is just a big hub for healthcare innovation. I'm looking all the way back to 2017. a lot of our companies are in the healthcare tech. And then I would say after that, it becomes SaaS companies of various types of industry. We've recently seen, I would say in the last couple of years, a big, in the applications even, a big increase in fintech and insurtech type companies as well. I think fintech's hot in general in the US right now, but insurtech also makes a lot of sense for Michigan given our industry backgrounds here. So that's, I think, the new kind of trends. And then historically, healthcare has been a huge part, whether it's an app or a device, we kind of see a lot of that.
But I would think manufacturing, but not really, right?
A little bit. So that goes with the med device. So, like one of our companies back in 2017 was called Avidheart, and they were creating a pulse oximeter device that was like take home or something you could pick up at CVS, right? So manufacturing is still a really big part of it. Now, it wasn't like big med device where it was a class 1 or class 2 and you had to do a lot of FDA stuff. But manufacturing obviously is still a big part of the device side of things, especially when you're doing like IoT or connected stuff. So not as much advanced manufacturing, but that's still a part. I'm trying to think here too. We had more recently a pickleball, retail pickleball equipment and paddles, and that's been huge for the manufacturing area in West Michigan as well too.
I've never played pickleball. I have. It's sort of like table tennis and tennis combined there, something like that, right?
Yeah, kind of. It's like you play in the smaller, you don't go all the way to the back. You play in those like spots, right? I wish it was too cold. We wanted to get out there and play with them. They hosted a couple, but now what's great, another great story with them. They just got their first manufacturing and warehousing space, and it was big enough. They're going to have their own little court, so they can do testing and have people over to show them how to play. I'm really excited to get over there now that they have an indoor court.
All righty. Well, we're coming down to the end of the segment. So once again, deadline to apply is April 22nd. Why don't you provide that contact information where they can go do that?
Yeah, you can reach me directly at tom@conqueraccelerator.com, or you can go to the website for the application, which is just www.conqueraccelerator.com.